Today, let's take a look at an iconic riff from Led Zeppelin. Now, the riff we're going to look at is actually the end riff to Stairway to Heaven, which, as soon as you hear, you will definitely remember. You've heard this many, many times. So, you've probably heard that riff. What's going on here? How do we play this? So there's a couple really important things in the technique of getting this down. One is with the strumming. And the most important aspect in strumming, when you're playing strumming style rhythm guitar, is all in this hand, always keeping that hand moving. You can see, as I'm playing this, that hand never stops. Always going down, up, 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 down, up. And that creates a pendulum type action in that hand, which holds you and snaps you into a much tighter time. Much easier way to hold time that way. So this hand, keep moving. That's the most important thing for the strumming. So part one, check. Second thing is understanding the chords we're playing here. Now I'm using root 6 bar chords. I'm using an A minor, G major, and F major. Now what a root 6 bar chord means, what I mean by that is the root is on the 6th string. Root 6 bar chord means the low note, the root is on the lowest string, which is the 6th. Because on a guitar, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the 6th string. Root 6, A minor is here. A root 5, A minor would actually be here. So your root 5 bar chords are root on the 5th string. Two common bar chord shapes that you have probably run into before. If you haven't, you are now, and you will a lot in the future. So back to Zeppelin, back to Stairway to Heaven end riff here. So now that we have our chords, we have to know the difference between the major and the minor to start off with. So a minor bar chord is actually, your middle finger is up. This finger is barred, your first finger is barred across all 6 strings. Your third finger goes on the A string on the 7th fret. And your 4th finger goes on the D string, also on the 7th fret. So we have the 5th fret barred with the first finger, and the 3rd finger and 4th finger on the 7th fret on the A and the D string, which gives you an A minor chord. Now we take this and move it down 2 frets. If we play the same thing, we actually have a G minor chord. To turn it into a major chord, we take your middle finger, and put that on the G string, right in between those 2 frets. And that turns it from a minor chord to a major chord. And then we take that and move it down 2 frets and keep the shape the same as it was on the G down to the F to play an F major chord. So we have an A minor, a G major, and an F major. And those are the only 3 chords in this end riff here, this iconic riff from Led Zeppelin. So now getting to the rhythm, it starts like this. I'm going to play it nice and slow. So the first half, the first 2 chords, is pretty easy because the strumming pattern where it's going to connect with the strings is down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. So that part's pretty easy. And then once we get to that F chord, the way the pattern breaks up, it's going to be just a little bit more complicated because you're going to be leading with the chord with a downstroke, and then with an upstroke. The way the pattern works, we have So we have down, up, up. Sorry. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down. Play that without saying it, so you can see and hear it a little bit better. And then I'll put the whole thing together, again, nice and slow. And you want to keep this wrist nice and loose when you're strumming. If you start trying to strum it with a tight wrist, it's going to sound terrible, and it's going to be really hard to keep it even. So loose wrist. The loose wrist is the secret to that flow, which is in turn the secret to speeding this thing up. Because when you listen to this song, this end riff here is not played nearly that slow. It's more like. So that loose wrist is really the secret to keeping this thing flowing and getting it up to that speed. Now, I don't want you to jump in. If it's bumpy, I do not want you to jump in, and you should not jump in and try to play it fast right away, because you're going to end up building more bad habits than you are good habits. But by making sure you have all these aspects put together, you have the nice strumming with keeping that wrist moving, and you have those chords down, the minor and the majors, and putting that whole thing into the pattern. Once you have that all put together and you're playing it nice and steady at a slow pace, slowly start to push that tempo. Start to get it more closely to resemble that original tempo from the Zeppelin song. But this is a awesome riff to really just get comfortable in your strumming and to be able to keep that strumming flowing. It's a riff it's actually one of the first strumming songs I learned on guitar, one of the first riffs I learned on guitar back when I was a kid. This is one of the things that I learned how to strum on, which is why I've been teaching it to people all these years. But not only is it a great one for that, it's also just a famous, iconic riff from one of the best rock bands in the history of rock music. So, as I said, slow and steady until you can get it to flow, and have fun with this. Look in the I'll post some tablature for this in the description below. So look down below here in the on YouTube in the description to download a quick tabbed out version of just this riff. So please subscribe to this channel, guitarpro.io. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Check out the website, guitarpro.io is the name of the site. There's lots of stuff on there. I got this series going on iconic guitar riffs, stuff on music theory, and stuff unlocking just all the secrets of the guitar, getting this thing rolling. So please check that out. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them below. Subscribe to this channel and keep having fun with this, and I'll see you next time.